is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are St. Louis.
Last night, the Cardinals, ninth inning, down 4-0. You think the Reds would win this game? Not so. Bases loaded, 4-4 the score. Make it a 5-4 walk-off win for Yadi and the Cardinals. One of the craziest games of the year. And the Cardinals take game one of this three-game series. This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And Cardinals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Busch Stadium in St. Louis. It is game number 2, the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. Jim Hayes is here. That's the Cardinals Hall of Famer, Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Let's go back to last night. Thrilling finish for St. Louis. Down by 4 runs in the ninth. The Cardinals start this rally and this comeback, Jimmy, and of course you know all about outfield play. The question right now would be, were the Reds outfielders playing a little too deep last night late in that game?
You know, what I saw was maybe playing a little bit too defensively and playing a little deep. But that's one of the things the Reds got to deal with. Maybe not too sure about where they want to be on the field, but you can see here, this should be a fly ball out to Matt Carpenter and really prolongs the inning and really just gives the Cardinals a chance for extra runners on base. And when you're in a situation that they were last night, runners on base is what you need, being down by 4.
It set up the game winner for the Cardinals. Remarkable way to pick up a victory. A walk tied it, hit by pitch wins it. Game number 2 is coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Back in St. Louis, and the big news here today at the ballpark, Michael Wacha, last night's starter, placed on the 15-day disabled list, right shoulder inflammation. And Alex Reyes, #1 prospect for the Cardinals, has been called up from AAA Memphis. What number will he wear? He's in the bullpen tonight. He's available. Number 61, the flamethrower, Alex Reyes, in the big leagues. Will we see him tonight? We're about to find out. Baseball is coming up. Brought to you by Bud Light. Please drink responsibly. By Chevrolet. Visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. A look at just across the street and Fox Sports Midwest Live. Cardinals Hall of Fame is coming up at the end of the month. The newest inductees. It'll take place over there. And along with the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. It's 89 degrees and a muggy night here in St. Louis. And we'll see, Jimmy, if last night that momentum carries over here to game 2.
You know, it's one of those things that you got to just find something to build on. We've been talking about it all year. Up and down, not playing well at home. It's just another game. Well, these are one of those situations where you can find something to really build on and run with it.
Hamilton, Cozart, and Votto, along with Duvall, Phillips, Schebler, Suarez, Barnhart, and the pitcher Finnegan. It is Mike Leake getting the call tonight for St. Louis. His last 3 starts, no other way to put it, it's been ugly. First pitch is taken for a ball. In those last 3, he's 1-2 with an ERA that's over 10. 1-0 pitch. And against his former team, the Reds, he's faced him twice, 13 runs in 11 innings. So trying to get things straight here tonight. 2-1 on Hamilton.
Right out of the chute, he's facing a guy who's 4 for 5 off him lifetime, and keep him off the bases, get the game going in the right direction.
Isn't that the truth? You set the tone if you can set down Billy Hamilton.
It's amazing. You know, the leadoff hitters, basically the speed of the game, the art of the old leadoff hitters kind of going by the wayside. But here's one of those guys that you really got to concentrate on keeping him off the base paths.
Hamilton is hitting .255. They're the numbers that you mentioned against Leake. 4 hits and 5 plate appearances. Line shot just over Carpenter and into right field. So a leadoff base hit for Hamilton. He had 2 stolen bases in the first inning last night. Hyundai pitch arsenal with Mike Leake. Fastball, the cutter. His slider only around 9%. That was a very good pitch in which he had back-to-back starts, 10 or more Ks. The changeup and the curve. The Hyundai pitch arsenal. Here's Cozart hitting .265.
See if we can't get a shot of the distraction that he's going to cause on the bases tonight. Watching him move around, short lead, big lead. See if we get a couple extra fastballs for the #2 hitter. See what kind of move to first that Mike comes up with, and how quick he can be over to the.
He was quick, but it gets past Moss, and there's that disruption that you're talking about. Hamilton to second base.
And that all is just you pick over at a normal time, and you know how quickly you have to be over there. And now he tries to go a little bit quicker, doesn't get his feet all the way around, and kind of cuts across the ball, and it's Billy Hamilton in the arm, and just like that he's at second. I mean, he could literally be at third base within 2 pitches. He could be 1-1 on the second hitter and have a runner at third base, and you're already in panic mode.
4th error on Mike Leake. Bit surprising. Good athlete out there, could swing the bat, fields his position well, but the errors have been on plays like that, thrown over to first base. 0-1 the count on Cozart. He's popped 15 home runs, driven in 44. Speed causes that disruption. Sometimes you're quicker to the plate. Maybe you force a throw over to first base. And Hamilton, one of the best at doing that.
You said speed forces those issues, and we saw by the replay how trying to turn quickly and throw the ball before he was completely set caused him to crossfire. That same thing happens when you're going to the plate. You don't get your foot down, or you get it down a little too quick.
Oh, he picked him off. Got him. Pick off of Billy Hamilton as Peralta sneaks in there.
Great job by Mike Leake keeping his composure, working on a play right there, and doing a good job, a really good job of turning and throwing a strike. I mean, this is executed perfectly. But like I said, you watch his feet here. He gets all the way back around, makes an adjustment. Even he had a little stutter step there, but making up for the bad pickoff.
Into right. There is Piscotty for out #2. That pickoff just changes the complexion of this inning.
Well, and not only does it make it easier on Mike, it makes it easier on everyone. Now, you know, as an outfielder, you know he's running. You know it looks bad if you don't try to throw him out at the plate, even though you're not really going to have a chance unless it's a rocket at you. Infielders got to be a little quicker.
Up and into Votto. Hamilton, by the way, with 45 steals, tied with Jonathan Villar. Milwaukee atop that leaderboard in the National League. 2-0 the count on Votto. Average is up to .288 since the start of June. His on-base percentage .496. I mean, guys get into a funk and they'll have a streak of 0 for 10 and then maybe an 0 for 15, but Votto is as locked in as we've seen him. Doesn't press the issue, takes his walks. Little bit low, 3-1. Chokes up on the bat. The 3-1 pitch. Pulled foul.
Good cutter right there. Did in a 3-1 count, and you really want to let it go. And that little tiny cutter you just can't really see as a hitter until last minute, and you're already letting it go. Just gets inside there on the handle. Difference between a homer and a foul ball.
3-2 pitch, base hit, Votto. Into center field. And a 2-out hit for the Reds first baseman. Brings in Adam Duvall.
See that as just a two-seamer. He tried to get inside a little tighter, and ball ran back over the plate. But Difference is the 3-1 situation. Hitter's trying to go deep. 3-2 Joey Votto. He knows he's just trying to put the ball in play. Battles. You make a mistake there with Joey, get a base hit up the middle. You make that mistake 3-1, you're looking at home run.
When you were teammates with Votto, did you ever talk hitting with him? Just approach and being two left-handed hitters?
A little bit, but not much. And he's literally got his own program going. He's very set in his ways. Very smart hitter, very smart man. And him and Rolen were pretty tight. I just kind of stayed off to the side and wasn't really in the mix too well there. I was injured.
Out to left center. That'll stay in the ballpark. Tommy Pham puts it away. Couple of hits, but no damage against Mike Leake. Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first. Very well lately. 6 scoreless innings in each of his last 2 starts. Last to do that, to make it 3 in a row in that fashion, Tom Browning pitched a perfect game for the Cincinnati Reds. Here's Matt Carpenter here to lead it off, followed by Stephen Piscotty and then Matt Holliday. Brandon Moss batting cleanup. Yadier Molina, Johnny Peralta, Jed Jerko, Tommy Pham, and Mike Leake. Same lineup that we saw last night. And the Cardinals again facing a lefty, so you see that same lineup. This guy's an interesting character in terms of the ceiling that he has. Cincinnati feels he could be really good before it's all said and done. Another pitcher picked up in the Johnny Cueto deal. He has worked out of the pen for Cincinnati. Earlier this year, it was his changeup that was an effective pitch, and it's now become an effective pitch here in his last month or so. Betrayed him for a while. Here's Carpenter, who had a big hit in that 9th inning last night for the Cardinals. Shift is on here for Carpenter. Schebler in right, very deep. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. I don't remember a right fielder playing that deep for Carpenter. You respect his power, but he is playing awfully deep.
Well, in my book, there's really no reason to play that deep because if the ball's over your head, it's usually a homer.
Exactly.
You can get back to the wall pretty easily, but you know, it's all comfort out there. It really is. And you know, playing center field for me, played shallow. I remember backing up a little bit at the end of my career playing right field just because it was not familiar territory. But a lot of times Tony would ask guys to play deeper. He would rather cut off the double. So I mean, maybe the philosophy is different, what they're trying to accomplish out there in right field.
2-1 pitch. Take you back to last night, that comeback. Carpenter with the bases loaded. Keep the rally moving. Schebler deep. Molina would score. So would Tommy Pham, and the Cardinals had a life.
And you could see Carp when he hit that ball didn't really get out of the box thinking, I'm pretty sure he probably thought that was going to be an out when he hit it.
Hits it the other way in a fly ball. Duvall near the line and makes the catch. First out here in the home half of the first. Hyundai pitch arsenal. Again, the pitch to watch out for with Brandon Finnegan is the changeup. Now he's throwing it about 11% of the time, and the numbers are down as opposed to where they were percentage-wise earlier in the year when he had a good feel for the changeup. He talked about losing that grip. He's changed it, and the changeup has become a very good pitch again. In the dirt to Piscotty.
Changeup is such a touchy pitch. It's a feel pitch, obviously, but like you said, if you lose the grip, lose the feel, don't really get it in your hand the right way, it goes south on you for a while, and it's just such a very tough situation when you just cannot get something that you're used to having. It causes havoc with your other pitches because you can't throw a changeup for a strike. Hitters in the big leagues are going to sit there and look fastball the whole time, and throw 93, fastball is pretty straight. It's going to be tough to get through lineups more than once, definitely more than twice.
3-0. Teams trailing by at least 4 runs in the 9th inning. Get this, we're 3 and 636. 3 wins, 636 losses on the year. And it's a walk to Piscotty. Let's go around the horn, and the Reds defensively. Duvall in left field, Hamilton the speedster in center, Schebler is in right, Suarez, Cozart, Phillips, and Votto along the infield, and Barnhart is behind the plate. Matt Holliday had a walk in that 9th inning. Average at 238. Cardinals just seemed lifeless for the longest time in that game last night until the 9th. Now you play 162 regular season games, and most of the players will tell you along the way you'll have great wins, tough losses. Players are able to usually just say, okay, that game's over, move on. However, yesterday was unique in how the game was lost, with the walk that tied it, hit by pitch that wins it. That's ripped out to center, but there is Hamilton. So my question for you, Jimmy, is do the Cardinals build on that, number one? On the flip side, do the Reds come in demoralized after a game last night?
Well, I think you can definitely see the energy in the Cardinals after the win. They know, even though they weren't playing very good baseball during that game, that's still an important win. They still battled. They did what they had to. Sometimes you just got to take away with the win, and it doesn't matter how you played for 8 innings. I mean, we saw the 7th and 8th inning being dominated by a pitcher who had incredible stuff, and then sometimes you're just hoping for another guy to get in the game and take a chance with that. And then on the other hand, Cincinnati Reds, yeah, it can be a long season, got longer, because it's just one of those things that you sit back and go, here we go again. And it could have been a here we go again with the Cardinals, and they flipped the switch at the end and pulled one out. But it'll be interesting to see how they continue to play with that emotion that they had last night in the 9th.
1 ball, 1 strike. We've said it a lot this year. Maybe that is the springboard to some success for the Cardinals, and a lot of times this year it hasn't been. However, last night, very unique. The 1-1 pitch to Moss inside. There's also the excitement of coming to the ballpark, and the players have heard all about him. They've seen him. Alex Reyes may see a major league debut here tonight. That's also, in the long season, something that gets your interest. A different look in that bullpen with Reyes. Jim Hayes will have more on that coming up in the 2nd inning.
Well, that's something that can spark you too. Get somebody up here with a little life in their arm, get the fans interested, get the guys excited. Another opportunity for a young man to make his big league debut. If you see 100 miles an hour all of a sudden, get some guys fired up. A lot of things can spark a team during the course of the season, and you just never know where you're going to get it from.
Check on Piscotty, and that'll be a balk. Called by the first base umpire, Angel Hernandez.
I don't know if it was the knee crossing or the foot going towards the plate too much. Angel was right there to make a call. No argument from anyone, so got to go with it.
2-1 pitch. 2-2. Hernandez pointed at his knee after.
I think he could have gone with both there. Yeah, he could have gone with either one right there. I believe knee kind of crossed over, and the foot definitely went towards the plate.
The 2-2 pitch with a runner in scoring position. Strikeout of Moss, couldn't pull the trigger. First strikeout for Finnegan. We'll have more on Alex Reyes when we come back to Busch Stadium in St. Louis. A look at Alex Reyes. More on that. Let's check in with Jim.
Yeah, Alex Reyes knows that there's a ton of excitement and a ton of hype surrounding his ascent to the big leagues. He told me, I try not to pay much attention to it, but no matter where I look, especially on Twitter, there it is. He told me he was at the dinner last night in New Orleans where Memphis is playing when he got the call about coming to St. Louis. He said his excitement level went from 0 to 100. He said it was an honor and a dream come true to put a Cardinal uniform on. And Dan, he says he has 2 goals in the short term: control the bottom of the zone and throw strikes.
And Jim, we should mention for fans that are curious, he is bilingual but grew up in the United States, spent time in the Dominican, so I'm sure he was very gracious and excited to meet with the media.
He actually was. In fact, there were no media relations people around, and a bunch of media folks saw him, went right over, and he said, yeah, let's do it. Excited to do it and excited about this opportunity, Dan.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. And there's a walk to Phillips to start inning number 2. So leadoff walk to Brandon Phillips, and it brings in Scott Schebler, hitting 189, couple of home runs, and he has driven in 11. Top of the second, runner at first, and there's no score. Jim Edmonds, Jim Hayes, Dan McLaughlin with you. The shift is on, and a slow roller hit to first. Moss goes to second and gets the out, gets the lead man. We turn to our Toyota keys to the game. You know, Jim was putting a lot of thought into this, and he came up with this key: don't spring a leak.
A little lighthearted look at Mike Leake, trying to keep Cincinnati Reds down after last night, trying to turn his last couple starts around and his rough start against the Cincinnati Reds, his former team. Try to keep it all intact and move forward. But you know, it's just a game. We're trying to have a little fun up here once in a while. I can't take all credit for that.
You were thinking about it when we left the ballpark last night. You turned to me and you said that was an exciting win. I said, you're right, Jim. And then you said, what should be the key to the game? I told you, and you slept on it. We had an hour-long production meeting, and you came up with don't spring a leak. And I think you've done your homework.
I'm still not sure why that one came out, but.
1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals and Leake would love the double play. He doesn't strike out many, doesn't walk many either. And if he's right, he's getting ground balls. Eugenio Suarez is at the plate, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Outfield is straight away. Jed Jerko is near the line at third, and Carpenter, your second baseman, near the bag. The 2-1 pitch. There's a ground ball. Carpenter again gets a lead man and safe at first. Cardinals defensively in this game as we go around the horn, presented by Dobbs. Holiday, Pham, Piscotty in the outfield. Jerko, Peralta, Carpenter, and Moss on the infield. Yadier Molina is behind the plate. I know, Jimmy, you had the chance to visit with Mike Matheny about Reyes and potentially how he might be used from here on out.
Yeah, I was just curious and got a chance to speak with Mike for just a brief second and kind of figured, you know, is it temporary? Is it a wait and see attitude? And it is. It's a wait and see situation with him. See how he handles it. The word on the street, and this is not coming from Mike, and what I have read is he's having trouble pitching deep into the games, and it's kind of a deal with guys that throw really hard that maybe try to throw a little too hard. The command is a little off.
Ground ball slowly hit. Carpenter to Moss.
Get back to that thought.
We head to the bottom of the second. It's Molina, Peralta, and Jerko coming up, and there's no score. Busch Stadium in St. Louis. It'll be Molina, Peralta, and Jed Jerko coming up for the Redbirds. Arcia in the driver's seat. Since July 8th, 21 games in which he has reached base hit, walk, hit by pitch, whatever the case may be. But the hot summer months, playing a demanding position, and Yadi has done more than enough. 365 his average. He's some kind of player.
He is. He just keeps on going. It's like he just, I don't know, can't keep saying he keeps getting better because he's been doing it, but he's super consistent. Like I said, I mean, watch that at bat he had last night against a hard throwing left-hander. First pitch threw right by him. Second pitch he just sped it up a little bit without trying to do too much, and then the third pitch the same thing.
A strike to Yadier Molina.
Ends up with the base hit to right field on a guy throwing 95 miles an hour, and looked like the first pitch didn't even have a chance. So definitely just keeps being Mr. Consistent.
And he hits it a ton. Deep left, has a chance. 1-0 Cardinals. Yadi with a solo home run.
As you were saying,
pretty darn good.
fastball down the middle, what you're supposed to do with it, right?
And that's what he did. Parked it in the bleachers. 4th home run for Molina. That's the 23rd allowed by Brandon Finnegan this season. 1-0 Cardinals here in the home half of the second. Johnny is sitting on 199 for his career. See the Mike Leake pretty locked in, and now Molina puts on the equipment. Gets set for inning number 3. He started the rally last night in the 9th and ended it. Here's a 1-1 pitch. It's it the other way, and that slices foul out of play. Cardinals really miss Aledmys Diaz and his presence at number 2 spot in this lineup. So Johnny Peralta is at short. There's a look at Diaz, who just became a new dad. Congratulations to he and his wife. Dealing with the fracture in the thumb. Hit by pitch by Andrew Kashner. A little more on Diaz coming up in the 4th inning with Jim Hayes. Coming up in the 3rd, hockey royalty. Bernie Federko will be our guest, the Hall of Famer. Big announcement here at the ballpark about the Winter Classic. Big staged here at Busch Stadium this next season. Strikeout of Peralta. You were talking about with the Reds the mindset of uh-oh, here we go again. Their bullpen has been better here in the second half, but this year against the Cardinals, the ERA of the Reds bullpen, and doing some of the numbers, nearly 32 innings, an ERA of 7.96. And it's not just the Cardinals that they have struggled against. A strike on Jed Jerko. Brian Price was the pitching coach for a couple of seasons under Dusty Baker, and then took over as the manager. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Longtime manager in the minor leagues in St. Louis, Jim Riggleman there on the left. The 1-1 pitch.
Former manager of the San Diego Padres,
Washington Nationals as well.
Nationals,
Chicago Cubs. There are so many guys that learned the game and learned how to teach the game from George Kissel, and Jim Riggleman is one of those. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Had the pleasure of being able to visit with George when he was alive in traveling with the Cardinals, the end of his baseball career. Tony La Russa wanted to have him with the club and traveling. Incredible asset to this organization over the years. They talked about how he was able to take the most complex situations of the game of baseball and simplify it. Kind of like baseball for dummies, they talked about.
That's that book that's sitting right between me and you. Yellow and black.
Right.
Stripes on it.
3-2 pitch, and it's taken low.
You know, one of the things that I found very interesting today when I was talking with Mike Matheny was we talked about just young players and players in general, but now that you had mentioned that, it made me think about it. Every player learns at a different rate. You know, some players pick it up quickly, some players don't. And you said, like George Kissel tried to make it simple. So kind of dumb down the game a little bit, go about your business and try to do what works for you. And it was interesting talking to Mike about how you can hear players say they picked up on things all of a sudden, and then the manager thinks to himself, well, we talked about that 2 months ago. You know, it's just how the delivery has been made, and George Kissel was amazing at that, and I think that he got through to a lot of players over the years and years and years of teaching and coaching. And
sometimes it just clicks.
Yeah, but it's pretty obvious that a man like that is so important to an organization.
Here's the 0-1. Tapped foul by Tommy Pham. No balls, 2 strikes, runner at first, and 1 out. Finnegan pitched in the College World Series and Baseball's World Series in the same year. Did that with the Kansas City Royals. And he was really good out of their pen that year, but has always wanted to start, so he gets his chance now with the Reds. The 0-2 pitch. And it's a strikeout of Pham.
That's a really good tight slider. Get you speeding up your bat by throwing that fastball in and out, and then you throw a tight slider like that, especially when it's in. We talk about it all the time. It is so hard to be able to hold on to your swing when something's on the inner half part of the plate. You start your swing early, and all of a sudden when your eyes tell you it's breaking, and it's too late. I mean, there's nothing you can do. That's why you see so many strikeouts on breaking balls that are down and in, because you have to pull the trigger early and able to get to that pitch.
Strike 1 on Mike Leake. Leake hitting 162, no home runs, pair of RBIs. You'll see how the Reds approach Mike Leake maybe differently than other pitchers in baseball. They know he could swing the bat. 1-1. Sometimes a guy goes up there and it's just 3 fastballs right down the middle.
Mike's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Adam Wainwright's one of those guys you might not want to just pump fastballs to.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Just got a piece. 2 strikes now on Leake. Yadier Molina with a home run starts this inning with the 4th home run of the season for the Cardinals catcher, his 34th driven in. Cincinnati last in the Central Division, 45-66. Cardinals at 59-53. And Leake strikes out. So many ways to score a run in the game of baseball. Take, for instance, last night, hit by pitch with the bases loaded to win it. Molina 24 hours later takes one deep. That swing, that home run. 1-0 St. Louis after 2. Lino home run. I mentioned before he is hockey royalty. Holds the Blues records for games played, assists, goals. Number 24 hangs in the rafters at the Scott Trade Center. Great to see you,
Dan. Always a pleasure.
Bernie Federko, the Hall of Famer, and we were busy here at the ballpark today with the announcement of the Winter Classic coming to St. Louis. What do you think this is going to be like?
This is absolutely going to be fantastic. I mean, this venue is so wonderful during the summer, and everybody knows what Busch Stadium is all about because of the World Series that the Cardinals have been so successful. But I think for us to see it in a different little image in the middle of winter is going to be absolutely fantastic.
Are you a baseball fan?
I am, absolutely.
Did you grow up playing baseball?
I did a little bit, although our season was a little short up in Canada. We played high school ball from about the beginning of May right through the end of June because we go to school up there till the end of June. Now the kids get out here at Memorial Day. There we go all the way till the end of June.
Is that where the rink is going to be right there? Are they going to move it in or out a little bit?
That's the way we were told that it's going to be this morning. So it's going to be a great venue, and it was great to be with everybody this morning, I should say. And it's great to see Dennis Savard. Had a nice conversation with him this morning. It's always great to talk hockey in the middle of the summer.
Well, it is middle of the summer, kind of. You know what? Camp is coming up. It's pretty soon. It
is, and especially when you look at Colton Parayko, he has to actually report. I think he said September 4th. He's on one of the teams that's going to play in that World Cup of Hockey that's coming up in September. So yeah, it's getting close. I mean, the guys are all, they're back and they're training and they're all set. I mean, they've got such a good taste in their mouth from what happened early in the playoffs last year. I mean, they know they're disappointed to get beat out by the San Jose Sharks, but I think they all know what the goal is still is in reach, and they're very excited about this season.
Now, I remember when we were doing Blues hockey, Bernie, we would skate the canal up in Ottawa. Well, we tried to get you to come out, and you'd say, I'm not putting on skates anymore. I don't want to do anything with skates on my feet. You're going to have to do it now with the alumni game before the actual Winter Classic. You realize that? Dan, I do realize that, and you know what? Dennis Savard and I talked about that. When we're out there, we're going to be very, very cordial. We're going to be very slow, which we can at our age now, but it's going to be the atmosphere of what it's all about. And yes, no, I don't skate. I haven't skated for a year now, and prior to that was another year, so I'm a once-a-year guy, so I should be ready for January, or actually December 31st. I should be all good and ready. How's your family? Everybody's great, thank you. When you went into the Hall of Fame, how did it change your life? You know what, really hasn't changed an awful lot. I mean, I've been, very fortunate to be in this great city for, this is going to be 40 years now, Dan, other than the year that I was in Detroit. I came to the Blues in 1976 for camp, which is exactly 40 years. So I've been very fortunate with what's gone on. There's a stolen base for Hamilton. Puts himself in scoring position. I needed you to interrupt me for that. And no, I've been very fortunate here to be in St. Louis with all these great fans and with this great city. So, my life, I've not really changed because I've been a part of the community here in St. Louis. I've, been so welcomed into this city for so long that it's, I just feel like I've been here forever, and I can't be happier to be a big part of the city. Every time you go to a hockey game or you come downtown, you're going to a concert or a Cardinals game, and we see the 1-0 pitch here to Cozart, you may pass a statue of yourself outside Scott Trade Center. What is it like seeing a statue of yourself? Really, it's really surreal is what it is. Yeah, it really is. I mean, you come in as a kid, you have a dream to play in the National Hockey League. You just want to get there, and when you get there, you want to last. And for things that have happened to me, I just feel that I've been so blessed. You know what? I'm so excited for my kids, my wife, every time that we're down at Scott Trade together. It's very enlightening to say the least. But I never expected that it ever happened, and now to see it and to be a real part of my life, it's pretty fantastic. And to be there for the rest of history is kind of one of the things that you always say, wow, that's pretty special. It's amazing. 3-1 the count here for Mike Leake against Zach Cozart. Bernie Federko, the Blues Hall of Famer, is our guest. The Bridgestone NHL Winter Classic at Busch Stadium. The Blues and Blackhawks Monday, January 2nd. Blues and Blackhawks alumni game on the 31st. There's a broken bat and a base hit into center. Hamilton had to make sure that wasn't caught, so he'll stop at third. How's your arm feeling after your first pitch? Dan, that was pretty brutal. You know what? I was so glad that
I had a catcher that could actually jump high. Let's not. Tom Me is going to show this just because he can. I was just, you know what? I thought maybe for a second that I was Rick Ankiel there. I was trying to get to the back of the backstop there, but I kind of got a little too much on. You know what? I was looking for that release point, and I got it just a little too high.
A little bit more out in front.
Yes. You know what? But you know what? The whole deal is what you want to do is you want to get out there and have one warm-up pitch so that you know how far the mound is. And I was a little leery. I knew it was a brand new spanking white ball. I was not going to get it dirty in the dirt. So I was very pleased that it actually was cotton, and I was glad that it did because it might have hit someone on the other side.
Trust me, I've seen thousands of first pitches. That one was pretty good.
Well,
from some of the others we've seen.
You know what,
me.
Dan, you know what? If it was a really, really good pitch, no one would talk about it. So I guess it was that bad. Now we can talk about it.
So the Blues season is coming up. I would imagine that if you're a Blues fan, and we'll have the majority of those games on Fox Sports Midwest, that you're just itching to get back to camp and to games with the way that the season progressed and finished up last year.
We really are. I mean, it was great to be with both John Kelly and Darren Pang today. We again had such a great year. The Blues just satisfied us so much last year, not only during the regular season, but certainly when you knock off the Chicago Blackhawks, the defending Stanley Cups in the first round. It was just absolutely fantastic. And then you know what, going and beating the Dallas Stars was wonderful too. But again, I think you always want to get back now because we're just you're an inch short. You know what, we all felt that the Blues could have been there, and if they would have got against the Pittsburgh Penguins, of course, in hindsight we always say that, but certainly this team was as good as any team in the league, and they could have very easily have won the Stanley Cup.
What do you think it would be like going down Market Street in St. Louis? What would this town do with the Stanley Cup going down Market Street?
Well, we've seen a Super Bowl parade here. We've seen a number of obviously World Series championship parades here with the Cardinals, but I really believe that this would be the ultimate. You know what? The people here in St. Louis, and there's so many great Blues fans, have waited 50 years. This is going to be the 50th anniversary, of the St. Louis Blues, Dan. So I really believe that this may be the greatest, and I'm not saying it will be when it happens, because it is going to happen one day, and I hope in the near future. But it's going to be one of the most exciting times, I think, that and I really truly look forward to it.
There's a look at what the rink will feature here at Busch Stadium. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. That's always big question mark around the Winter Classic.
Yeah, you know what, the weather could be, we've had some great days in January. We've also had some cold days, but you know what, it would sure be nice. I'd love to see a little snow shower. It would be absolutely fantastic. I mean, again, we're dreaming with that, but certainly this is such a wonderful venue, and the people that get to come out and get a chance to watch it here are going to be absolutely blown away. And no matter what the weather is, Danny, I think it's going to be just a wonderful day.
Bases are loaded here for Adam Duvall. There's a strike. So the Blues lose David Backes, also some other free agency moves. David Perron comes back to town. Just in general, what do you think of the team that's currently constructed?
Well, it's changed a little bit. Obviously, I mean, David Backes was a big part of this hockey club, but you know what? It's the nature of the business now. I mean, with an offer that he got from Boston, as a former player, you feel that he has to go and take it. But David Perron is going to add, some extra punch. Obviously offensively. The big talk is about, is Vladdy Sobotka going to come back? And I think if Vladdy Sobotka comes back, I think that really big would fill a hole that David Backes has left. So I think Doug Armstrong is very comfortable right now with the way this team has been put together, and I think they have obviously a very solid defense, and they've got great goaltending. With Jake Allen getting a new deal, this is still one of the top teams in the National Hockey League, and again, they've got a lot to prove, and I know that all the guys are very excited about getting the season started. They feel that they're well on their way to the next step.
Did you grow up playing outdoor hockey a lot?
Yeah, we basically
so
had to.
You back to your roots.
Well, I played outdoor hockey in 40 below weather. This is going to be not 40 below. This is going to be actually, no matter what the temperature here, it's going to be very balmy compared to what I'm used to.
Just past Peralta and into center field, and 2 runs will score, and the Reds go on top 2-1 on the base hit by Duvall. He's now up to 74 RBIs. I know I've talked to you a few times here in the summer. You really do follow the Cardinals. You become a huge Cardinal fan.
I do. I mean, again, this is our team. This is what it's really interesting is that it's so great to to come to the stadium all the time, to see how many people from all over come here. I think that's the most amazing part about it. There's so many great Cardinal fans from all over this country, all over the world, and every time I come here, it just truly amazes me, what I get to see here. And I mean, I don't know if there's a better place to ever watch a ball game. You guys got a great view here all the time, which is fantastic. But this is, it's a great. It is America's pastime, and it's a lot different than hockey. It's a lot more laid back, which is I like because, when you're watching hockey, everything's happening so fast. I love to come to the ball game. You know what? Drink a couple of nice cold Bud Lights, and have a little bit of. I love peanuts too, so it couldn't be better.
Back to Leake. How about a double play? Out there, double play. I can't wait to watch you on the skates again.
Oh yes, you can wait.
I mentioned it before. Hockey royalty here in St. Louis, Bernie. You're such a class act. Thank you,
Dan. Thank you. Always a pleasure to be with you.
2-1 midway through 3. To the bottom of the third, Duvall a base hit. It scores 2, and the Reds have an early lead. Top of the lineup, it's Carpenter, Piscotty, and Holiday. The key double play there, turned moments ago, started by Mike Leake. 2-1 Reds. Message for Bernie Federko from his partner, John Kelly. He said, tell Bernie that was a terrible first pitch. Come on, John. Well, John threw out a first pitch too. There's a strike to Carpenter. What a good man, Bernie Federko. All class. Looking forward to Blues hockey, and it's coming up. The shift is on here for Carpenter, and the 0-1 pitch. John was the master of ceremonies on the field, and NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman was here. Many of the St. Louis dignitaries were in attendance. Bill DeWitt III, Cardinals president, who is a huge hockey fan. Plays a lot of pickup hockey with Tom Stillman and some of the Blues alumni.
I'm in. If I'm in town and it's not 80 degrees on that day,
it's going to be a hard ticket. I'm telling you.
It will be a hard ticket.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. Fence. Somehow I think you'll get through the doors. Somehow, some way. But you're amazing. All the various things that you get to be a part of by acting like you're friends with people.
I like it. I wonder where you were going with that, but I like it.
2-2 the count here on Carpenter. If people knew all the different guys and their personalities that I get to work with, they'd love you guys just like I do. I get Al, I get Rick, I get Tim McCarver, I get Jim Edmonds. I love it. A lot of fun. And also the great James Hayes. 3-2 pitch. Taken low. Finnegan another walk.
I think if Jim Hayes went to winter ball that he would be known as El Gato.
Absolutely he would. Oh yeah. Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Most combined runs per game. These two put up a lot of offense. Cardinals lead the season series 6-4. 6 of the 10 games decided by 1 run. That's it out of play by Stephen Piscotty. He walked his first time up. Here's a look at Brandon Moss. Hello, Brandon. Surprised he isn't talking to the camera. Sorry, Jimmy. I said good things about you when you play. Now get off my back. Here's the 0-1.
They need a little microphone down there so they can hear what we're saying to them.
Now, would you have minded if you were at the on-deck circle or in that dugout being interviewed during a game?
I don't think it's a big deal now, but it was weird when it started. I think baseball, it could be done, and it has been done longer. Hockey blows me away. The old-time hockey guys, the amount of work they put in during a period, and to grab someone right off the ice as the period ends, I was shocked when they started doing that.
Trust me, I did it for years. It's amazing.
And those guys got to be exhausted after a period of play, and then here's a mic in your face.
It was a few years ago that we started interviewing players when they came out of games, or some of the starting pitchers. If they had a good night, we could go down and visit with them in game to enhance the enjoyment for the viewer at home. Chance to see the players up close.
I think that's what players don't realize when they play, and I did not realize what they were trying to do. And you're all about superstition, so I think the first couple times I wore a microphone on the field, I didn't get any hits. I was done with it. But now sitting back and understanding it and watching more games on TV, yeah, I think it's awesome, but it's still weird being an ex-player watching it. But I think for the fans at home to be able to see people in a different environment right after a game, or even just to talk to people about the game. You know, it's interesting when you talk to a coach in between, you know, a period or a quarter or a halftime, or, you know, you get Mike Matheny in the middle of the 6th inning sometimes, and it's funny because you want to hear it, but yet they don't have really a lot of time to answer, and you can see the coaches and managers get irritated at times. So it's definitely a fine line.
Outside, 3-2.
I mean, not only is it tough to answer those in certain situations, I feel for the person trying to do the interview, because the questions have to be so careful, because
absolutely,
you know,
it's a fine line. You're not trying to break stories, but you're trying to get some insight.
Well, the ultimate question is, and the funny answer is, what happened out there? And you want to say, well, you saw it,
right?
You know, like, what are you asking me for?
Catcher wants it. That's Barnhart, makes the play. Carpenter to third, and he is out.
Look, they're going to take a look at this one, my friend.
So David Bell is on the phone with the video department of the Cardinals. Ooh, well, that's close. Risky play here by Carpenter.
I'm going to have to say challenge it, huh?
So the Cardinals will challenge this. Many a times, by the way, I interviewed Jim Edmonds, and recently on our Cardinals Classics, I think it's from the year 2000, we're in the clubhouse and champagne and beer is flowing and guys are going nuts. I look like I'm 12. Jimmy, you were so kind in granting me an interview. Boy, this is close. They're showing it on the video board here at the ballpark, and the fans seeing it through Cardinal colored glasses believe he's safe.
Man,
boy,
that's
that is
close.
Man, that might be your best look right there.
That's tough to tell. Call them out. This is another one of those situations where it's too close to call, so they stay with it.
I don't know about you. I was getting concerned with Carpenter with the side issue that he has reaching for the bag.
Yeah, you could tell definitely that he kind of slid a little gingerly.
And a strike at the knees to Holliday. Hit a screamer first time up to center field. An interview with you is also some of my finest work with Garrett Stevenson.
I think he was talking about Mr. Matheny.
He was. Yeah, he really admired
people
Mike.
out there that can remember those days.
0-2 the count with 2 outs, nobody on. Pitch number 51 from Finnegan.
It was quite an interview you conducted.
Oh, it was. It was. Some pretty good insight there from Garrett. I wonder what he's up to these days. Outfield is deep, and the 1-2 pitch to Holliday. You were amazed when I told you that I used to play golf every day with Garrett Stevenson, and the combination of Garrett, myself, and Tony Womack.
Quite a threesome.
That's quite the trio, let me tell you.
Threesome too strong of a word? Trio better?
We would have invited you, Jimmy, but we had a threesome.
Gotcha. That was about 10 years before I started playing golf.
Strikeout of Holliday. So Finnegan is through 3, and the Reds have a 2-1 lead as we head to inning number 4. St. Louis. And whoever, throw me a baseball. Why not? Let's head downstairs to Jim Hayes. And Jim, where do the Cardinals stand right now with Aledmys Diaz?
Dan, I have an update on Aledmys. Not much of an update, but at least my mic is working. Diaz still in a splint of some sort as he deals with a fracture of the right thumb. Diaz told me there's no timetable for when it comes off, but he's hoping to get a timetable when he sees a specialist on Monday. He said he was cleared today to start doing some lower body weight training. And as for being a new dad, he told me he and his wife plan to share the duties of tending to baby Nathan when he wakes up in the middle of the night. Dan, I told him wives always say that. Good luck with that.
Absolutely. And Jimmy, how about a follow up on Michael Wacha with all the excitement of Reyes now being in uniform as Leake hits the first batter, that's Schebler. There's also a side story to that, and that's the fact that Michael Wacha goes on the 15-day DL.
Yeah, Wacha finally admitted after last night's start that there was something wrong physically. Had the MRI today. It turned up inflammation in the right shoulder. So Wacha does go on the DL. The location and the symptoms mirror what Wacha went through in 2014 when he had a right shoulder stress reaction. So Dan, they're hoping that it calms down. They're going to give it some time, but the Cardinals are concerned about it.
Absolutely. So we'll see if Wacha can get back after the 15 days or where it takes him after this. I know a lot of folks have talked about, Jimmy, the fact that maybe Michael could go to the bullpen. I'm not sure the Cardinals could do that because of the various things that he has to do in between starts and on a daily basis just to get ready every 5th day because of the uniqueness of the shoulder injury that he has. Runner goes, throw by Yadi, and safe. A stolen base for Schebler.
That's a lot of work for a guy who's a starter to have to go through a completely different routine, especially in the middle of the season, and do the things that he needs to do to get ready on a daily basis, especially if you've had a little bit of inflammation, injuries, fatigue. Anything in that category causes a lot of extra work on those off days, and doing everything to maintain. These guys do so much to maintain in between starts anyways.
Out to center. There is Pham with the catch. Schebler tagging up, and the throw to third. Not in time. So runner advances to third. We'll see how the Cardinals want to play it now with just one out. You would assume they bring the infield in. Here's Tucker Barnhart. Then after that, you have the pitcher spot. So we'll see how Leake wants to approach this as well.
Well, I was thinking about that. Easy to say you can just walk him right here. But then if the pitcher doesn't hit into a ground ball double play, you got a guy who is hitting 800 against the pitcher on the mound. And Billy Hamilton.
So runner at third. One out, and the 1-0 pitch. Up the middle, off the glove of Leake. Peralta, no play. Run will score, and that makes it a 3-1 Cincinnati lead. Two outs brings in Finnegan. 3-1 Reds. It's one that Leake would love to have back.
Yeah, you don't see that very often with him.
Well, he gets it back here. Hard hit by Finnegan. Reds tack on another run. And we're midway through 4. It's 3-1 Cincinnati. 26. Salute the career of Hall of Fame player Bob Gibson. That day, 30,000 fans, 16 and older, receive a Bob Gibson red jacket statue to add to their collection. Courtesy of Scott Credit Union. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. So Finnegan back to work, and the Reds have a lead of 3-1. Home half of the fourth rolls in. Jim Edmonds, Jim Hayes, Dan McLaughlin with you. Our longtime producer Mike Helling has not been with us for about a month and a half or so, 2 months, and resting comfortably back home in Denver. And if he's watching tonight, Mike, we love you and miss you. Get back here soon. 3-1 Cincinnati. Besides, I'd like to take his money on the golf course a little bit more. That's the main reason. But I'm sure Mike has got all his Godfather DVDs that we sent him. Chance to watch that trilogy. He's such a big fan of that Godfather series.
That's why I was laughing when you said he was watching tonight. There's no way.
He might be. Here's Brandon Moss, called out on strikes, his first time up. Many of the Cardinal Hall of Famers will be back later this month for the Cardinals inductees of Joe Torre and Sam Braden, Terry Moore, Chris Carpenter. That includes Bob Gibson and Ozzie and Whitey, Tony, Jim Edmonds. Looking forward to it. 3-0 on Moss. He's had big numbers this year against Cincinnati.
I think the best part about the whole Hall of Fame thing is the MC guy. Will that be you as the MC guy this year?
That would be me, Jimmy.
I like it.
Yes, sir.
Such a fine job you've done over the years.
I love it. It's a great honor.
Maybe we'll get Garrett Stevenson back one day and you can duplicate that.
I'm good with that. That's a one-time only.
One time for live TV.
You got it. Leadoff walk to Moss. Saturday, August 27th, Edward Jones will present 30,000 fans 16 and older collectible plaque honoring Carpenter, Torre, Moore, and Braden. They'll be inducted into the Cardinals Hall of Fame earlier that day. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Here is Yadier Molina. Fouled back. So your former teammate Chris Carpenter headed to the Hall of Fame. You think back to Chris Carpenter, one of the toughest competitors in recent Cardinals history. Match that with some nasty stuff, and this guy was something else. What stands out for you when you think of Carp?
Those pitches, those pitches that guys were missing reminded me of how good he was, because those pitches are hittable pitches, but yet his stuff was so amazing with late movement, late life, the cutter, pitch you in, mentality of just going out there, and every time he was pitching, he was going to try and finish that game. I mean, he was a tough competitor and so much fun. I mean, he made my job so much easier. It was incredible.
Big game pitcher too.
Big game. Great to play defense behind. Stuck up for you if you made a mistake.
Brendan Ryan may not agree. Popped up. Out of play. Big game pitcher. We're talking about a lot of postseason. Cy Young Award winner in 2005. Comeback player of the year in 2009. Three-time All-Star. Postseason 10-4 with a 3 ERA. There's certain players, and you know it, Jimmy, that even at this level with the pressure that guys deal with on a nightly basis, and there is pressure in this game, certain guys want the ball on the biggest stage. That was Chris Carpenter. Slowly hit. It's fair. It's an infield hit for Yadier Molina. And Yadi is 2 for 2. Cardinals have something going here in the 4th.
It's not something we get to see every day. Yadi Molina fighting off a curveball and legging out an infield hit.
So it makes this game crazy. Suarez, if he lets it go, I don't think it rolls foul.
I was thinking, what if, but that's such a tough play, especially with the man on base running at you, being third baseman.
So 2 on, nobody out. And it's ball 1 to Peralta. Struck out his first time up. It's your first time in person getting a look at Finnegan. What do you think?
I like what I see. I think that he's got a good fastball that can tail, can cut a little bit. I like the slider slash curveball is tight. I haven't seen much of the changeup, to be honest with you. I mean, I get caught watching the game live more than the TV sometimes, so it's like I love looking down to see where the strike zone is and what all the players are doing. So reaction time for that is pretty awesome for me for this advantage point. But I mean, I'm impressed. I think he's doing a good job. He's throwing some balls down the middle, but the balls that he's throwing on the inner half are getting guys a little off balance. And like I said, people are aware of the changeup, and the curveball slash slider has been tight and hard to pick up.
2-0 the count on Peralta. Runners at first and second. 3-1 Cincinnati. There's a base hit. Peralta comes through. And the bases will be loaded for the Cardinals as Moss is held up. Base is loaded for St. Louis and nobody out.
You know, right there, the one thing that being a pitcher in a situation like this with throwing a lot of fastballs is you got to throw the ball on the edge of the plate to a fastball hitter. Johnny Peralta is a fastball hitter, and you can't just throw the ball down the middle, and that's the one thing that can get you in trouble when you're cruising along, is throwing the wrong pitch to the wrong guy in the wrong location. And it's part of the game, it happens, but it's why he's been pitching so well for the first 3 or so innings. Hasn't made that mistake yet.
Now it's Jerko, bases loaded. Great opportunity here for the Cardinals. Ball 1. This crowd will start to come alive as we go along in this at bat.
I think if you watch the game from up here, and you can see the game plan develop in the older hitters. You see Yadi, who went after 2 first pitch fastballs. You see Johnny swinging hard after a fastball. They know they're going to get fastballs.
Double play ball. 4-6-3 on the double play as a run scores. That's Moss, and it cuts a lead to 3-2. Tommy Pham with a runner at third, 2 down. Cardinals seasons leading the National League in home runs. Last time it happened 1998. 70 of the 223 hit by one man, and that was Mark McGwire. Last time the Cardinals as a club led the senior circuit in home runs. They will intentionally walk Pham to get to Mike Leake.
I'm impressed with the 39 to lead the league. 1901.
39.
That's amazing.
Game has changed.
And you would think even back in the day, with the parks being so big, even in the early 1900s, in the 20s and 30s and 40s, with the old Yankee stadiums and all those old polo grounds and stuff, the fields were so big you would think there'd be at least that many inside park home runs.
Some of those ballparks were huge.
I know, that's why the 39 struck me as, that's all.
Well, think about it too.
Even for that,
you know, we see a ball hit the dirt, they throw it out. They would play a full game with one ball. That ball would get beat up, soften it up. So a walk here to Tommy Pham, and it brings in Mike Leake with runners at first and third and 2 outs. Two walks in the inning, that one intentional. That's 5 walks issued by Brandon Finnegan. Leak a chance to tie this game up. Pham, your runner at first. Molina is at third. And the first pitch to Mike. Taken high for a ball. He struck out back in the second. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Mike Leake. And Leake sends it out to center. But there is Billy Hamilton. Cardinals strand 2. They pick up a run. And we have played 4 here at Busch Stadium. 3-2 Cincinnati. Max Scherzer, it seems like any time that he goes out, the St. Louis native, something special could happen. 20 strikeout game, no hitters. He had 2 of those last year. Thank goodness we have Sutton Edmonds with us to make sure that our stats stay straight. She's done a great job. We've really upgraded that position. Billy Hamilton lines it into right. One pitch, and Piscotty makes the catch for the first out.
She's all over Finnegan's page right now. She's checking it out.
How old is Sutton?
She's 7.
Like I said, it's a big upgrade. Pitch taken low by Zach Cozart. Reds picked up 2 runs in the third after the Cardinals led 1-0 after 2. Tacked on a run in the fourth. Cardinals came back with a run of their own.
There she is. My little stats girl.
Little chopper foul. I'm assuming that's one of the nice things about being retired now. Time with the family, which you don't have for about 7 months as a ball player. That's inside the third base line. Off the bat of Cozart, dug out in the corner by Holiday, and a 1-out double for the Red shortstop. His second hit tonight, and he's 2 for 3. See Jerko pretty far off the line. No chance at that.
And Cozart does a great job of keeping his hands inside. That ball's way in off the plate. keeping that ball fair is hard to do.
One out, runner at second. Always find it interesting, as you talked about earlier, the game plan against a particular hitter. I've seen Votto drive the ball on a pitch up in his eyes, down at his feet, inside, outside. He just flat out hit.
The thing that makes him such a good hitter, as we talked about last night, is not swinging at balls. I mean, we say it over and over during the course of the year, but he's going to get fooled at times. But you're not going to see him chase a fastball away, chase a fastball inside. So you can't really set him up by challenging him in.
Tremendous power the other way. Plate coverage. Here's a 2-1. Molina sets up outside. Missed his spot. And it's 3-1.
This ball's got to be pretty close, even though he misses his spot. Just a bit down.
The catcher has to reach for it. Sometimes umpire will not give you that call. It may have been the case there. There's a ground ball hit to the right side, leaked to the bag and led by Carpenter. Cozart advancing to third, and it brings in Duvall.
There's that little cutter we were talking about, which is so hard to decipher until the ball's really on top of you. Thinking you're getting a fastball middle in, and that cutter just breaks just enough to get on the inside part of the bat. Think about that. The ball's got to break. What is that? From the barrel to breaking your bat?
5 inches.
5 inches. 60 feet. It's got to just move 5 inches. Completely throws off the hitter.
2 balls and no strikes. Leake is one of the fastest workers in the game, even with runners on. I think the fastest may be Seth Maness, especially when things are going right. He just gets it and goes. 3-0. They may take their chances with Brandon Phillips, who's at the on deck circle. 3-0 here on Duvall. His base hit with the bases loaded in the third, scored 2. He's also flied out to deep center.
See, this cutter is not even much of a cutter, but yet right there, I wouldn't even say that was 5 inches. That was 2 or 3 inches in off the barrel, and enough to break the bat and give you nothing to work with.
And also, when you talk about a cutter, if it stays on the same plane, that's issues. That's trouble with that movement. If you have a little downward movement, then you can get those ground balls.
Well, usually if it stays on the same plane, you've gotten underneath it a little bit and it's flattened out, which will take the velocity away from it too. But you can see there's not much variation in the spin of a 4-seam fastball. And that's when it's hard to pick up.
It's the 4th walk issued by Leake. He's also hit a man. That was Schebler back in the 4th. Runners at the corners. 79 pitches total thus far. Runners at first and third. Popped up to the right side and out of play. Outfield shading Phillips a bit to right center. Big gap in left center field. We have a young second baseman they like in their system, but Phillips still putting up numbers. Not great, but decent. And as steady as they come at second base. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Thing about working so fast, Got a guy at third working out of the windup. You get a guy on first. You got to make sure you stop when comes set. Trying to rush through, you get caught up in like just on autopilot. You got to make sure you stop like that.
There it is into left center field. Who can get there? It will be the center fielder Pham to make the catch. So the Reds strand a couple midway through 5, and it's 3-2. Cincinnati on top. Run when the Cardinals score 6. Any size drink is just 50 cents the next day. Coffee, fountain, frozen drinks. When they score, you pour at your nearest On the Run. You earned it. The top of the lineup for the Cardinals. You love to see the aggressiveness at times of this team, but then when you run into outs, you question it. That's what happened with Carpenter when he was on the base paths last time up. A fine line between being aggressive and then all of a sudden being out of an inning. Base hit for Carpenter. Trying to make something happen. Look at where he starts this slide. Cardinals took a look at it. It was reviewed and the call stood, which was out at third base.
You know, I thought the same thing when he went. I couldn't tell if he had a good jump, got a chance, and I looked up and saw there was one out. He's trying to do whatever he can to get to third base with one out. I'll take that. Yeah, he did slide a little bit early. And the most uncomfortable part for me was when he was standing on third and having to watch that over and over and over, because there's really something about watching yourself on TV is uncomfortable. You know, you make a play, you go home, you watch FSN, watch Fox, and you're on there and you thought you made a great play, and you look at it and you go, wow, that's special. So when you do something that looks a little funny, it's a little embarrassing.
I was watching FS1 last night, never missed their recap of the games, and sliding into third was the Giants catcher Buster Posey. And a lot of it too is when you start your slide, you better hope that the dirt has not been, you know, with the grounds crew sprayed so wet to where you stick. And there are some grounds crews that will do that more so than others at various stadiums that you play at.
Yeah, every base path is different. I mean, some are super hard. After a while, you don't even like to slide.
0-2 the count on Piscotty, trying to bunt his way on. Takes a ball low and away. So here it is again, the early slide Going, and called out. He stands at first base now in a 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Well, both these starters, a lot of walks in this game, 10 combined. So the Cardinals will get into this bullpen of the Cincinnati Reds. Question on the other side, will we see Alex Reyes here tonight? Reyes did pitch over the weekend. And the 2-2 to Piscotty. Outside again. Sometimes when you look at this Cardinals team, it can be stagnant. We've talked about that station to station, and here's one of those cases where if they wanted to, you start the runner, try to get something going with Matt Carpenter at first base.
I like that, what you're saying right there, especially with Piscotty hitting. Carp's a good base runner. He knows if he gets a good jump or not. You don't necessarily have to tell the hitter that he's going to run, and you can tell the runner, if you get a good jump, go. So there's ways around being a team that doesn't run a lot. Still get out there and get started.
There he goes, and it's hit out of play.
So Mike Matheny is listening to us.
Clearly.
He clearly understands what we're going for. So he sends him.
So your conversation with Mike about Reyes was the fact that it looks like he's here to stick. They're going to give him an extended look.
Well, I think it's going to be a situation where they're going to give him a chance to prove himself. He's going to have to pitch well. He just can't come up here and throw fastballs, and talk about it a lot. How they can hit fastballs in this league. Got to get the ball down in the zone. And
hit sharply to third. Carpenter was running. Phillips the turn, and it's a double play. It's a good example there of the new slide rule where Phillips was hung out to dry, and Carpenter can't do anything about it. He's just got to slide into the bag.
See right here, just a ground ball, nice and easy.
I mean, look at that.
I think they both still are in between. Like Carp's like, what do I do? Brandon's like, is he going to hit me? Oh yeah, never mind. It's 2016.
Yeah, years past. I mean, Phillips. That's a yard sale.
He's
out in
probably
left field.
jumping, trying to catch the ball in the air and not anywhere near the base.
Here's Holiday. After the double play off the bat of Piscotty. He is lined out to center and also struck out. 3-2 our score. Pitch number 83 for Finnegan. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Girls on the Run, and their dedication to empowering young women and instilling confidence through running. Registration is now open for all girls. Learn more about how you can get involved this fall. Visit foxsportsupports.com. Here's a 1-1 pitch. And Holiday rips it out to left. This ball is gone. Line shot off the bat of Holiday. 19th home run, and we're tied at 3.
There's that breaking ball slider that didn't do much this time, and he hammered that ball. It didn't get up very high. I think he knew he hit it out too.
It's a 2-iron into the bullpen of the Reds.
Who carries a 2-iron these days?
Man. So solo home run by Holiday, and it brings in Moss, who has walked and struck out. 0-2 the count with 2 outs. In a brand new game, 3-3 here in the bottom of 5. Moss with a fly ball out to left. Over near the line, and the catch is made by Duvall. Holiday the home run. The liner. He always says it. Trying to hit line drives, sometimes they turn into home runs. There's a good example of that. Ripped it out to left. This game is tied 3-3. Three score. We move to inning number 6. The bold and refreshing frozen strawberry lemonade is back, and it's only available at McDonald's. Along with Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. Scott Schebler leads it off. .1-0 is popped up. Carpenter puts it away. One out here in the 6th. 3-3 our score. And a pitch, it's taken low. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Eugenio Suarez. 1 ball, 1 strike. Zach Duke is getting loose in the Cardinals pen, and activity in the Reds pen. 2 strikes on Suarez. It's one of those things where Mike Leake against his former team has had all kinds of issues. Many years with the Cincinnati franchise and facing so many friends on the other side, former teammates. Let's see if he's starting to settle in here tonight. Fly ball that's lifted to right field. Piscotty is there. Krispy Kreme dozen deal. Cardinals get 9 hits tonight. You're invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow. Receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $3.99. Stop by one of the 4 St. Louis area Krispy Kreme locations for this sensational deal. There's a tight breaking ball. Tucker Barnhart, switch hitting catcher, the 0-1.
Seems like last night, if this is Mike Leake's last inning, which maybe, maybe not, it's one of his better innings, working quickly, hitting the spots a little bit more, getting comfortable.
It's funny how that it works later in a game when a guy is tired. Pitch count at 91 for Leake. It'll be Molina, Peralta, and Jerko coming up. Then we'll see Pham, then Leake spot. So you're 5 away. And you may see him go back out there in the 7th. That may change your decision. Base hit into right. 2-out hit, Barnhart. Well, it gets Finnegan out of this game, so they'll pull him back. His night is through. And a pinch hitter for Finnegan. Or will it be? They started to pull him back. He was walking to the dugout, and they said, nope, you're still in. He is 0 for 2 tonight with a pair of groundouts, so the Cardinals will see him in the bottom of the 6th.
Maybe he got the hit sign. Get a hit sign.
First pitch lifted into shallow center. Tommy Pham is there. Red strand a runner midway through 6, and we're tied up. It's game 2. 3-3 our score. Baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. By your local Volkswagen dealer. And by National Car Rental. Go National, go like a pro. Bottom of the 6th, our score is 3-3. Finnegan back out there. And the Cardinals will have Molina, Peralta, and Jerko. We saw all the comebacks last night, not just here in St. Louis. Greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Brandon Crawford, shortstop of the Giants against the Marlins, went 7 for 8. 7 hits in the game, 14 innings. The Braves a 4-3 win over Milwaukee in 12, and Mitch Moreland last night RBI double to cap their comeback victory in the 9th. That was a 3-run comeback for Texas. You're just joining us and getting caught up on what's happening with the Cardinals. That is Alex Reyes on the left. #1 prospect for the Cardinals. Many publications have him as the #2 overall prospect in all of baseball. Michael Wacha was put on the DL. Will we see him tonight? Very well could see Luke Weaver this weekend in Chicago. He's also had a tremendous season at AA and AAA. Just one start at AAA, but a very good year. Wacha goes on the DL. So here we go in the bottom of the 6th, and Molina, who is homered here tonight, pulls one foul for strike 1.
Sure, everybody would think it'd be fun to see him pitch tonight, but had pitched a couple days ago it might be in a bullpen day, but yet can't force it and make sure that he's got some rest, and you know he's going to be pumped up and ready to go. So you got to be careful with that situation.
Molina goes down to get it. One hopper hit to third. Suarez. Alex Reyes this year, 93 batters that he struck out in 65 and a third innings. His ERA of 4.96 in 14 starts. And so they believe that he could get his feet wet in the bullpen, start him there, get a taste of big league life, but also air it out for those, 3 outs or maybe potentially 2 innings of work. But as you mentioned, it's about command of the strike zone, especially at this level.
Well, the other thing is too is if that's going to be an issue and if he's going to need other pitches than his fastball, find out now so he can work on something either back in the minor leagues again this off season, get a taste of what it's like, and it's not the same as AAA. Get him up here, get him comfortable, get him ready to work, and then learn and be ready to, if you want a starter out of him next year, then he's ready for starting next year. You just don't throw him into the fire. If the knock on him was throwing a lot of pitches up in the zone because he's a max effort guy, and sometimes it's hard to control and you miss a lot. So you can't bring a guy up here and only get him through 4 or 5 innings, because the guys up here are not going to swing at high fastballs at 100 miles an hour. Can't be hit and they won't swing at it.
6th walk that's been issued. They've done that before with some frontline starters. Most notable on that list would be Adam Wainwright. Pitched a little bit in 05 and then 06 working out of the pen, and eventually closed out the World Series. Jaime Garcia did that. Lance Lynn very good in the 2011 run in the second half, and then Carlos Martinez was dominant at times. See the high ERA, but he was so good. And for a while it was Segris, Martinez, Rosenthal on the back end of a pen. And the pitch taken outside to Jed Jerko. So like you're saying, it's one of those things where all of a sudden you realize you've got a very good talent in your system, ready to come up to the big leagues. They have the talent to compete at this level, and then start them by getting their feet wet in the bullpen.
Well, and like I said, if you're going to put your team at risk with a pitcher who's going to get himself into trouble, and that's what he's known for, you don't throw him out there to start in the middle of the inning knowing or thinking that he's only going to be able to go 4 or 5 innings, because if you can only make it 6 innings in AAA, let's say, teams know that. They're going to take advantage of that, and you're only going to make it 4 innings here. And then you put your bullpen at risk. So, yeah, bring him up, let him get a taste. Very smart what they're doing, or what they can do with him is set him out there, let him learn from what's going on, let him watch, let him see the guys work, get used to it, and then make a decision. Just because you pitch well in AAA doesn't mean you're going to pitch well here. So I think it's a good plan. I think it's nice to get wait and see attitude with them.
Pham hits it sharply into left center field. Peralta around second, on his way to third. Pham on his way to second, diving in with a double.
Another aggressive swing on a fastball. Know that Tommy Pham is going to be ready to hit a fastball. Ball a little bit to the center fielder's right in the gap. Johnny Peralta does a good job getting to third base. And that's what I'm talking about. Don't have to be super fast. Just got to be smart. Tommy Pham around the backside. You got 2 guys in scoring position now with 2 outs. A little stress on the Cincinnati Reds now.
Well, if you're Brian Price and you've seen this bullpen blow up time and again, he may be saying my best bet is Finnegan, even though he may be on fumes, as opposed to going to my pen. Now Blake Wood was very good last night. Cingrani, Diaz, we saw those 2 as well. Greg Garcia will be your pinch hitter, and with the lefty starting, On the bench for the Cardinals again tonight with the same lineup, it is a ton of lefties outside of Alberto Rosario, your backup catcher. So your pinch hitters will be swinging from this side of the plate. By the way, Reyes had one of his best starts of the year. That was Saturday. 6 innings, 6 hits, 8 strikeouts. His promotion comes 20 days shy of his 22nd birthday. Runners at second and third. Strike one on Greg Garcia.
And I think it's so funny because a lot of people are probably saying, like, why just bring the guy up and let him pitch? But the Cardinals have done such a great job, and we saw the stats on the rookies. Bringing guys up, pushing them along, but not overexposing them to where they will end up going backwards. And that's really the key. It doesn't matter what your stuff is like or how good you're going to be someday. It all matters about right now and not going backwards.
0-1 pitch is a fly ball. And with 2 outs, this should do it. The threat is through. So Finnegan and Leake both complete 6 innings, and we're tied up at 3-3. Just a year later, and we're talking about breaking up double plays at second base.
We're just going to go to last year. You see Jason Hayward sliding in hard right there. Johnny Peralta safe at first. You see Yadi right here sliding. That gets someone's attention. He's not trying to hurt anyone right there. Now, second baseman, nice and easy. Game has definitely changed. Brandon Moss, no fear.
It's changed, but I'm not sure it's changed for the better with that play.
Isn't that funny that you said something to me today about Tim McCarver, and he said, I don't agree with it at all. At all. But the game has changed.
Yep.
And that's just the way it's going. So we have to work within the rules and move on. But it's just one of those things. I think that growing up a baseball guy as a young kid and seeing even the fights and the nasty takeouts, and, you know, it was part of the game, and it has definitely changed, and it doesn't mean that you have to like it, but it is. The other thing is, I thought that was interesting today was, Danny, you were talking about the guys getting bigger, stronger, and faster, and definitely safety can become an issue because they're not stretching the field out. So guys are getting down the line a lot faster, balls are being hit back at the pitcher a lot faster. And it's definitely changed that way too. So safety is definitely going to be an issue.
Dimensions the same. Guys are much bigger. So they'll turn around Billy Hamilton. We saw that the individual was running from the Reds dugout to the bullpen. Our understanding is the bullpen phone is not working. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Hamilton. 2 strikes. Billy with a base hit here tonight. 0 for 4 in his career, 4 strikeouts against Kevin Siegrist. Interesting to see Kevin here in the 7th. A lot of times Cardinals wait till the 8th. Pitch just missed. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Kevin Siegrist. The fastball change and an ever improving curveball. Pretty good one, especially to left-handed batters. Here's a 1-2. If Reyes can have success in the bullpen this year down the stretch, it allows Mike Matheny to shorten games with his starters. I mean, you know what you have in O, you know what you have in Siegrist, and you might be catching lightning in the bottle with Reyes off the mask of Molina.
You saw what Adam Wainwright was able to do.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, Reyes' fastball is a lightning in a bottle already. As you see, Yadi taking a serious shot to the face. But you're right. I mean, it just gives you another weapon, and you're not putting the team at risk. Like I said, if you throw him out there and he can't get through 4 innings. So everything positive going forward. Perfect situation for him. Perfect scenario for him. Get his feet wet. Let him just do what he can do.
3-2 pitch to Hamilton. Leadoff walk. Last guy you want to walk. Let's see what Cozart is doing in this spot. Starting to get into the late innings of this game. He's 2 for 3. And you were talking about this earlier, Jimmy, the responsibility of the #2 hitter, especially behind a guy like Billy Hamilton. Do you give him a pitch here and maybe steal a base? Is the bunt on? Or are you almost wasting that bunt with Hamilton because of his speed and take your chances? And if he gets to second, then you look at the bunt.
And all those questions are determined by how quick he is to the plate. And if Billy Hamilton thinks he can run on him. You don't sacrifice for a guy who can steal second base easily. So that's what makes this game so amazing, is there's so many factors that determine what can possibly go on.
And if he steals it, if you're Brian Price, you think, well, why even waste an out by bunting him to third? Take 3 cracks at a base hit. With 2, 3, and 4 coming up, base hit, you would assume, scores Billy Hamilton. Another check on the speedster. Now is in sole possession of stolen base lead of the National League. 46 in 52 attempts. And he's had pretty good success against Yadier Molina in his career. Yadi has only caught him twice. Nearly 20 attempts. Little changeup had him out in front, and it's 0-2.
It's interesting right there. Yadi calling the changeup, not really worried about the stolen base, and that's a good thing. He knows if he can get the ball quick enough and make the right pitch, keep him from running, but yet you can't forget about the hitter. Dangerous hitter with 15 home runs. You can't just serve fastballs up because he got a speedy runner at first.
He is running. Good jump, and no chance for Molina. What a jump there by Hamilton.
Great jump by Hamilton. I think he just went on first move. You can see right here, as soon as he picks up the foot, he's just hoping that he's not going over to first, and he can walk into second base. Got to be careful he doesn't go to third right here.
1 ball and 2 strikes. All kinds of room on the left side of the infield. Into center. Catch by Pham. Throw into third is offline, and Hamilton tags up and puts himself at third base with just 1 out. But that speed on a line drive to shallow center.
It's incredible, even in replay.
So the Cardinals going to talk about this. It's a matchup earlier this year, Siegrist against Joey Votto, and Votto had a walk-off homer for his only hit against Kevin in his career. You walk Votto here and set up the potential of a double play. Does he see anything to hit? Here we go. One out. Runner at third. And Votto, last time in Cincinnati, also had a base hit. So 2 hits against Siegrist, 2 for 14 with 7 strikeouts. First pitch taken low. This is also a scenario too, Jimmy, where you might get maybe 1 or 2 pitches to go after Votto, and if you fall behind, then put him on.
It's a pretty good first pitch right there, though. That's bottom of the zone, out over the plate. See what he's thinking.
Hit up the middle and a base hit with the infield drawn in just past Siegrist. Pass short and second, and the Reds back on top 4-3. Votto puts Cincinnati back on top.
See that ball not where he wants it, and Joey just getting a piece of it to get it through the infield. But that's all you really needed. For me as a left-handed hitter right there, I'm thinking first pitch fastball, he didn't miss by much. Now he's 1-0. I'm going to take a chance that he's going to try and come back with another fastball here, because he didn't throw me a first pitch slider and he didn't throw anything really wild. So, you know, Joey kind of guessing with what's going on right there and taking a chance and swinging the bat. Got himself a fastball and hit it up the middle. But those are the little things inside your head that you got to think about. You know, he throws that first pitch in the dirt way up and away. You know, he might not be trying to go after you, but he just missed. If it wasn't a strike, it was pretty close, and so he's ready to hit.
Duvall with a fly ball into right center, and the catch is made. 2 outs. Votto stays put at first base. Leadoff walks will kill you, and especially when it's Billy Hamilton.
Does that make sense to you as a hitter? Like,
oh yeah,
you're standing up there and you're saying, okay, I'm going to give him a pitch to see what's going to happen, and usually you would see a breaking ball, then you can say to yourself, okay, he probably threw me a breaking ball. If he misses, he misses. If he doesn't, I'm not swinging. And then you get that fastball, and now he's behind, so you take that chance. Okay, he's going to pitch to me. So it's a game on both sides.
Ball 1 to Brandon Phillips. In 11 at bats, a 182 hitter against Kevin Siegrist. Two outs and the 1-0 taken for a strike. Cardinals have the top of the lineup coming up. Carpenter, Piscotty, and Holiday. Holiday is homered in this game. Chevy Fox tracks. Molina pulled that back in. There's an art to doing that. Being quiet behind home plate. How you receive the baseball. It was a good play by Yadi to keep that in front.
You can see that pitch that we showed on the replay, that was a 2-seam fastball that actually cut. There's also an art to doing this. No panicking. Just keep the body in front.
It's a good way to put it. A lot of guys do panic, and that's a trait of Yadi you just don't see. Aggressive and no fear, no panic.
In great hands.
2-1 pitch to Brandon Phillips. It's stuck in the netting right there in the Cardinals dugout. Turned out to be a long top of the 7th here for Kevin Siegrist. 19 pitches. Something's not quite right with Phillips.
Took a funny swing. looked back at his back leg.
Take a look here.
See right there.
2-2 pitch. Little defensive swing by Phillips and a flip by Carpenter. Billy Hamilton, the walk, the stolen base, and eventually comes around to score. Cardinals player hits a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Neat moment is Lorenzen is the new pitcher for Cincinnati. They just put up on the video board. And we always saw the Blues highlights in the playoffs, and they just showed Michael Phelps, who, of course, we're doing the game. We don't know, but apparently has won his 20th gold medal of his career tonight. Remarkable.
Indeed. Remarkable.
So the Cardinals have been out hit 7-6, and Ivan De Jesus takes over for Phillips. We were remarking about the odd swings that he had taken in the final 2 pitches of that at bat.
It was some of the most random swings I've ever seen, and his feet kind of going backwards and his hands trying to go forward. The first time he did it looked like he tweaked his knee or something, and then did it again and didn't run much at all down the line. So hopefully nothing serious, but it's amazing how many injuries you can occur during the course of a season for what everyone says not a contact sport.
Right. When we saw Segras left the mound, he was screaming at the home plate umpire. He was upset. Some of the calls that did not go his way in the Hamilton at bat. That walk comes around to score. So the Cardinals again for the second time in this series trying to come back late. Top of the lineup, it's Carpenter, who's flied out, walked, and singled. Then Piscotty and Holiday, who tied this game up for the moment 2 innings ago with a home run at 3-3. That's taken outside, 2 balls and a strike. Lorenzen is a former first-round pick. Cal State Fullerton.
It was right in my backyard when I was growing up.
The Titans.
Quite a baseball program, my friend.
Oh,
Quite
yeah.
a baseball program.
Had a chance to broadcast a few of their games in the College World Series a few years ago. 2-1. And every player on the roster was headed to some type of stop in professional baseball.
There's a lot of guys from that place that have been in the big leagues or are in the big leagues. It's amazing looking back at all the talent that's come out of there.
The 2-2 pitch to Carpenter. Struck him out. Kubota Power Stats looking at home runs here tonight as we play with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. Major League Baseball home run leaders Trumbo and Edwin Encarnacion both with 31. Frazier, the former Red, Nolan Arenado, and Mike Napoli. Encarnacion is in that conversation for the MVP of the American League. It's part of the Scott Rowland deal a few years ago that Walt Jocketty pulled off with Toronto and Cincinnati. 0-1 the count on Stephen Piscotty. His teammate Josh Donaldson may get that award too, back-to-back years. 1-1.
Danny, I was actually born in Fullerton. Did you know that?
I did not.
Right down the street from old Cal State Fullerton. Just thought I'd throw that out there for you.
Think about the level of baseball. State of California, Texas, and Florida, and the amount of players in the big leagues from those 3 states. Warm weather areas, can play year round for the most part. 1-2 pitch to Piscotty, California native. Struck him out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the content descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. The Hall of Famer Bernie Federko. Always smiling, always laughing. Humble. As Holiday hits it out of play.
Looked like a lean, mean machine in that white uniform he did.
He did.
They asked him how much weight he lost. He said it's the jersey. He looked great. So used to seeing him in a suit.
Good guy. Two outs, nobody on. Holiday homered into the bullpen of the Reds last time up. Struck out, lined out. And the Reds had 1 strike away from striking out the side here in the 7th. Outfield extremely deep. Billy Hamilton in right center. The 0-2. Hits it down the right field line. It's slicing, and it's a fair ball. That carries all the way to the wall. Holiday on his way to second, sliding in safely and puts himself in scoring position. See the catcher calling for it up.
Just goes to show you right there. Get ahead, throw a nasty breaking ball, and then 99 trying to go up the ladder, and you get a rocket off the wall.
Last
99
home
with the
run,
grunt.
by the way.
Sorry, 99 with the grunt.
What is wrong with you?
Everything.
Last home run for Moss was against the Reds last week. Base hit could tie it. Hit sharply into right field. Here comes Holiday. The throw, not in time. Brandon Moss has tied it up. Reds don't hit the cutoff. He's in scoring position, and it's 4-4. Your turn to talk, Jimmy.
I mean, Brandon Moss coming through again. Cutter that backs up, it looks like, and then outfield 101. If you can't throw him out, hit your cutoff man. Get the ball down.
Here's Yadier Molina. Homered earlier tonight. He is singled. He is grounded out. Moss, the go-ahead run in scoring position. And the first pitch, a strike at 96. A 0-1 pitch in the dirt. There's a throw by Holt in right field.
I believe he just entered the game.
That's a tough pitch right there to lay off of. Puts him in a hitter's count, 2 balls, 1 strike.
What makes that pitch so tough is when you're standing on the on-deck circle and you've seen 99 on the scoreboard.
Yeah. Yadi chops it foul. Average has jumped up to 282 for Yadier Molina. Two hit sharply to third. There's Suarez. Cardinals though tie it up. Double by Holiday and driven in by Brandon Moss. His base hit into right. Throw offline as Holiday scores, and we're tied up. It's 4-4 as we head to the 8th. Segris pitched in the 7th, gave up a run. Cardinals have come back to tie it up. And Bowman in his 40th appearance of the year. Think about how far he has traveled on this depth chart in terms of importance. Rule 5 pickup, barely makes the club, and now where every game is so important late in this season, he's pitching in a tie game here in the 8th.
Such a rewarding feeling for a young man to come from pretty much nowhere to being in a game like this. I mean, as a competitor, it can't be a better feeling.
Ivan De Jesus. First pitch taken for a ball. We were talking the other night about the fastball of Matt Bowman. 92, 94, that range, but very good movement. You'll see it run in on the hands of a right-handed batter. Good sink usually. First time I saw him, I thought Tim Lincecum. Now, clearly he's not as exaggerated with his delivery, but he told some of us that he actually modeled this delivery after Lincecum. High chopper hit to short, glove by Peralta, and out. You can watch every out-of-market game live in high definition on over 400 supported devices. That includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. All you have to do is visit MLB.tv for details. Eugenio Suarez, top of the 8th, 1 out, 4-4 our score. It's the pitch right there that we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's the pitch as a hitter you cannot try and hit. And that's when so many guys make the mistake of trying to get out in front of that sinker. You got to hope that that ball is going to be out over the plate. You do not want to sink. You don't want to swing at that pitch right there.
Cubs with a win tonight, 5-1 at Wrigley. They open up a 10-game homestand. Will be in Chicago Thursday night, first of 4 against the Cubbies. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Ground ball. Hit to second. There's Carpenter. Cardinals will have Peralta, Jerko, and Pham due up, looking ahead to the bottom of the 8th. There's a commercial for Academy Sports and Outdoors that features Matt Carpenter, and you see one of the shots that they have as a little leaguer. It's a distinctive swing of Matt Carpenter, even as a little leaguer. Looks like the same guy. Driven out to right center, and that's trouble off the bat of Barnhart. Cut off by Piscotty, and Tucker Barnhart puts himself in scoring position. And the batter will be Holt.
You think that Matt Carpenter's had the same swing all those years?
It looks like it.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Go ahead run in scoring position. Top of the 8th. First pitch taken for a ball outside. Zach Duke up and throwing for the second time tonight in the Cardinals pen. Cardinals would want to turn around Billy Hamilton. And a base hit into center. Reds go back on top. And Holt delivers to make it 5-4. It looked like Bowman was going to cruise through this inning, but back-to-back doubles, and the Reds now have a lead of 5-4.
Here's that sinker right here that just got too much part of the plate right there, and Tommy Pham trying to do his best he can to try to keep that ball from being a triple.
This crowd is quiet now. So again, the Cardinals will have to try to come back just as they did last night. Hamilton, slow ground ball, tough play. Berrien, no. And the ball gets away from Carpenter, and a run will score. My goodness. 6-4 Cincinnati.
Well, Danny, We've been talking about it for the last 2 days. That's what speed does when it's on the base paths. Carpenter has to hurry right there. Barehand that ball is his only chance. Is a tremendously tough play because the ball is rolling so fast, and then the ball squirts away, heads up by the third base runner, and scores easily. But that's, I mean, that's amazing to watch what Billy Hamilton has been able to do just with his legs.
His last time on the bases, picked up a steal, then scored to put the Reds on top at that point in the game, 4-3. His infield hit puts him on base, and a run comes around to score. Pitch out, not running. See what the Reds want to do here.
Well, I was going to say right before that pitch out, I don't believe he's done yet running. I wouldn't be surprised if they want to get to 2-0, but I've seen a couple pitch outs back to back.
Throw to second and safe.
Another great jump by Billy Hamilton. What a good throw by Yadi, right on the money.
To the naked eye, I thought he was out.
You can't throw it any better than that.
Like the left hand did sneak in there. And we continue to play. Opportunity here for Cozart. Cardinals have committed 2 errors in this game. Go back to Carpenter being thrown out at third base. Key play in this game. Just some of the little things that may not show up in the box score, but become big plays or misplays that cost the Cardinals. The 2-1 pitch.
Wow.
Changeup taken low.
He had third base stolen easily there, and he stopped.
Joey Votto is on deck, and Duke is warm and ready to face him if need be. And the 3-1. 3-2.
He's trying to go. He's everything lined up to go right there, and he just didn't go.
3-2 pitch. Out to center. Late break by Pham, and it drops in for a hit. The ball that should have been caught drops in, and it's now a 3-run Reds lead. That can't happen either.
Take a look at this replay. I'm not really sure what happened here. It looked like the ball just fell in the Bermuda Triangle out there. 3 guys running back on the ball, and it just landed in between them all.
And we'll have a pitching change. Not a lot of help for Matt Bowman here tonight.
Not only will you find seats you'll love whenever you want, you can find the best seat for your buck. When you sort the best value, so get the StubHub app today. I don't know how you do that.
You just did it.
It's a lot of work.
Here's Zach Duke now into the game. No other way to say it. Plays need to be made, and they're not. And now the Cardinals trail by 3. One ball, one strike on Joey Votto. Votto with an RBI base hit last time up. Against left-handers this year, hitting .266, 4 home runs. He's driven in 14. 2 balls and 1 strike. What has turned into a very frustrating night for the Cardinals. Alex Reyes is warming up in the pen. When with the slider again, misses outside. Can understand if a fan is frustrated and they're saying, you know what, I'm switching over to the Olympics. Well, don't do it if you want to see the debut of Alex Reyes here tonight. Strikeout of Votto. Tough inning for the Cardinals. Votto throws his bat, throws his helmet. 7-4 Cincinnati. Is brought to you by Bud Light Lime and by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals out hit in this game 11-8, now trail 7-4. Alex Reyes warming up in the pen. First pitch to Peralta is a base hit into right. Cardinals have been one of the best teams 7th inning or later in terms of their offense. We'll see if that carries over to tonight. Brings in Jedd Gyorko. What do you think's going through his mind right now, Alex Reyes? As he continues to throw, and he will come in this game.
Well, good to get it over with, but yeah, this minutes right before got to be some of the most intense minutes that he's ever experienced in his life. Little breaking ball coming out high. Love the reaction in the crowd. People think that he's actually throwing at him with a breaking ball.
2-1 the count. Well, we've talked about it. The Reds have seen this before, where teams have come back, including the Cardinals last night, late innings against them because of their bullpen. The 2-1 pitch to Gyorko. Take a look at our Budweiser What's on Tap. A reminder, early start tomorrow, 5:30 with the pregame show, and that's Jaime Garcia getting the call for the Cardinals. 2-2 pitch. Struck him out.
Good slider right there. Like he knew what he wanted.
Here's Tommy Pham. Reyes getting loose in the pen. We'll see the major league debut of Alex Reyes here tonight. We have heard about Alex Reyes for the better part of, I'd say, 3 seasons. We saw that young man pitch in spring training 2 years ago, simulated game, and it was eye-popping, believe me.
This young man pitching right here has got some kind of arm. Good stuff. Good live fastball.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Pham. Chops it to second base. Could be 2 out there onto first and out. It's a double play for 6-3. So here we go. It's a moment that many around Cardinals Nation have been waiting for. We'll see the major league debut of Alex Reyes, the #1 prospect of the Cardinals system. This is our Chevy call to the pen. Reyes making the trot in from the bullpen here for his major league debut. Coming off one of his best starts of the year. That was Saturday. 6 innings, 6 hits, gave up a run, walked 2, struck out 8. And tonight, his major league debut, 20 days shy of his 22nd birthday. What a moment for the 21-year-old. From New Jersey, 6'3", 175 pounds. Adam Duvall, the first hitter. Fastball at 96, and welcome to the big leagues, Alex Reyes. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Now he can breathe a little bit.
Just going to watch in awe.
The 1-1. Nasty breaking ball. Wow. Knee buckler.
That is sharp.
Whoop.
Look how much break that had. That is straight down.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. A strikeout for Alex Reyes in his major league debut. On 101 miles per hour. Welcome to the show.
Listen to the fans. You know what, Danny, looking at that, just how easy he's letting the ball go. Short arm, not real long, not a lot of effort.
Strike 1 to Tony Renda. Here's the 0-1 pitch. First strikeout of his career held on to by Yadier Molina in a moment he'll never forget.
I mean, you can see the effort there at the end, but the body is under control the entire way through the windup, and then the arm lets the ball go with just a little bit extra effort.
The 0-2 ground ball. That pitch at 101. 2 outs.
He's talking about his. He was just saying, that's like me, 92, 75. That's exactly what he was saying.
2 outs. Ivan De Jesus takes a ball low at 99. You know that everybody in that dugout has a vested interest in
100%.
this young man. Here's a 1-0. Fastball hit out of play. You're right, Jimmy. I mean, you watch him throw. It is free and easy. Not long. Kind of a short arm a little bit. Big kid. He can flat out bring it. 7 strikes, 2 balls from Alex Reyes in 9 pitches. Here's a 1-1.
I was going to say, I want to see the breaking ball again.
I do too. Two and 1 the count. The next by Reyes. Ground ball and a 1-2-3 debut. Alex Reyes. Welcome to the big leagues. arm, top prospect. Maybe you weren't even a prospect coming through his system, but it's always fun to see a major league debut.
Always fun to see that first hit, that first home run, and especially the first strikeout at 100 miles an hour.
This is our Chevy call to the pen with the Cardinals leading by the score of 7-4. Matt Adams will lead it off. Rough night in game 1 for Cingrani. He's free and easy, really doesn't use his legs when you watch Reyes, and a cannon for an arm. First pitch at 87 and a strike to Adams. So what has been a disappointing night for the team, an exciting night for this franchise, and seeing Alex Reyes, we've heard so much about him, make his major league debut. Here's a 1-1 pitch. You know, some guys, you see them have to step away and they take a deep breath and they walk around the mound and you just see they're nervous. It didn't seem to be the case at all for Alex Reyes.
Can't wait to hear what he says in the post game, because he might say he didn't feel his feet, his hands, anything.
Right. I remember talking on the Caravan this past winter with Greg Garcia, and a young fan asked him, well, what was it like when you made your big league debut? And he said, I can't remember one thing about it. I couldn't feel my feet, couldn't feel my body. He said, I walked. As Adams pops it up. First out here in the bottom of the ninth. Fox Sports Midwest proud to partner with the St. Louis Area Food Bank. The St. Louis Area Food Bank provides millions of meals annually through a network of nearly 500 food pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters in the region. Food Bank can provide 4 meals with every dollar donated. Text FEED STL to 20222 to make a $10 donation to help feed local families, or go to stlfoodbank.org/donate for more information. Seven for Cincinnati, 1 out, nobody on, and a pitch taken low. It's a lot of hard work for that young man Reyes to get to this level, but what a moment for, let's say, Gary LaRocque, runs the Cardinals minor league system, who gets to make that call to Reyes to congratulate him and tell him you're going to the show. And for all the coaches along the way, and his family and friends and all those that made that moment possible.
Like a proud papa.
Yep. A 2-0 pitch to Carpenter. Lifts a fly ball into center. Hamilton. 2 outs. So Iglesias has got the first 2. Billy Hamilton is our Budweiser player of the game. 2 for 3, 3 steals, 3 runs scored. That's the difference maker he can be when he gets on base.
And we talk about it both nights now. That speed is something you can't teach, and something that everybody is afraid of. And you could see it right away from the first inning on. It made a difference.
So 2 outs, nobody on. And ball 1 to Piscotty. Oh, he went. They appeal, and Hernandez rings him up for strike 1. Wrap up the homestand tomorrow. Did he go? Let's take a look. 0-1 pitch. A win tomorrow for the Cardinals. That'll be their 24th series win against the Reds at Busch Stadium in their last 27. Cardinals going back to 06 here at home against the Reds in series 23-2-1. Redbirds down to their final strike.
Another young man with an amazing arm. They just keep coming out of the bullpen, don't they?
Yep. And Brian Price trying to figure out who can get him the final 3 outs. And tonight it looks like it may be Iglesias. 2-2 the count. A strikeout of Piscotty, and this game is over. Cincinnati wins it 7-4, but we see the major league debut of Alex Reyes. A scoreless top of the ninth. 1-2-3 went the Reds, and that is the storyline tonight for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it was. It was a slow night again. Tough offensive night, but got a glimpse into the future again. Another amazing prospect up for the Cardinals.
Post-game show comes your way next. Rick Horton, Scott Warman standing by. 7-4 the final.